Howdy, y'all. I got really poor sleep last night, so I'm going to talk about sleep today because it's on the mind. So essentially, we spend just about a third of our life asleep. And for most of us in the post-industrial kind of mindset, that seems like a lot of wasted time. But if you remember what it's like to be fully rested and not running on caffeine, it feels amazing. And sleep is amazing. At least in my opinion. I love sleep, and I do my best to sleep well all the time. Sometimes it doesn't work. But if you want to see where your sleep is, how well you sleep, I definitely recommend taking a week to assess your sleep and try to get to the most natural circadian rhythm you can in a week. And to get to your true natural circadian rhythm, it takes more than a week. Probably in the range of a month from our, whatever circadian rhythm we force on ourselves with alarm clocks and caffeine and alcohol and all of the other things that affect our circadian rhythm. But taking a week to kind of assess is a great starting point, and it might get you to the point where you feel really, truly well rested and awesome, even if it isn't to the most natural phases of sleep that you could be hitting. So, how to take a week to feel fully well rested. I recommend no caffeine as a high priority, no alcohol, marijuana, or other mind-altering substances that you can avoid, right? Certain medications are mind-altering and you can't necessarily avoid that. But anything recreational that affects your mind or sleep directly, anything that affects your mind is going to affect your sleep indirectly. So, no drugs, no caffeine, no alcohol. Turn off your phone an hour before you go to bed. Or if that sounds like hell, because I don't do that either, download f.lux for your computers and download Twilight for your phones, mobile devices. Essentially, these programs red tint your screen, so the mind thinks it's not getting daylight, right? When you have these blue or white screens that keep telling your mind, daylight's here, it's really hard to go to sleep. But if you get red tinted screens that looks more like firelight or something that doesn't trigger that, oh, we're awake. And it's a lot easier to go to sleep if you let your mind gear down and get the light levels that it values. But, like I said, no screen at all is better than red light. Red light is better than blue light or white light. So that also goes for turning off lights in your house, trying to minimize light in your world after the sun goes down. Because the most natural circadian rhythm, we, have tuned to when the sun is coming up and going down, which is really hard in the modern world. We've all got electric lights and phones and whatnot that keep us moving and shaking late into the night. So the third recommendation is keep a vaguely regular sleep schedule, but don't be a sleep Nazi. There are people who do some really cool work playing with their circadian rhythm and have found different ways of sleep that actually show some serious benefits. But to do that, you need to be really on top of, this is when I go to bed, this is when I wake up, this is when I go to bed, this is when I wake up. And if that's what you're into, explore it, see what works best for you. There's some cool systems out there, polyphasic sleep. But if you're looking for a natural sleep cycle, have an eye towards that, but don't be super rigorous about it, right? Set, this is the time that I go to bed, not this is the time that I go to sleep, right? And don't set a time to wake up, at least not at first. Because if you can wake up when you naturally feel like waking up, you're going to be more well rested. It's going to move towards a natural sleep cycle, and you might find you're sleeping really long the first couple nights just to catch up on the lack of sleep that we all kind of systemically have. Yeah, so those I think are the three big pieces of advice. try it for a week if you can manage it. I understand we all have school and jobs and whatever else that make us wake up at a certain time, but no alarm clocks to wake up. Set a vaguely regular time to go to bed. A soft, regular sleep schedule. No alcohol, no caffeine, no marijuana, no mind-affecting drugs that you can avoid at all. And red tint your screens, turn off your screens, turn off your lights, do as much as you can to not stimulate the brain right before going to bed. Those are the 3 big pieces of advice. I definitely recommend doing those always or anytime you can. I don't do those on a daily basis. I like my caffeine. I like alcohol. I have a red tinted screen always, but that doesn't mean that I turn off all the lights before I go to bed. And I mean, before I go to bed really, but like not when the sun goes down. And I do have a vaguely regular sleep schedule, but I get woken up by an alarm 5 days a week at least, which is less than ideal, but it keeps me functional and the people around me functional. So it has merit, it has value, but if you can eke out a week to try not to and see where your sleep is, I definitely recommend it. Alright, see you guys next time.